You just heard former President George W. Bush at the top of the hour giving a speech about immigration reform in Texas. A hot-button issue that is sure to be a topic tonight at an event featuring two rising stars of the Republican Party. Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan will both lay out their visions for the future of the GOP. This as another group of pro-immigration conservatives are taking to Capitol Hill today to try to make their case for reforms that they believe would help grow the Republican voter base. So will any of this reach key Republicans? Joining us for a fair and balanced debate, Simon Rosenberg. He is a former Clinton campaign advisor and president and founder of NDN, Just for Clarity, Democrat. And Kate Obenshain, the former chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia. Kate, does the Republican Party need to change its position on immigration?
Well, does it need? No, it needs to actually start talking about immigration. Look, some strategic decisions were made in the last election to stay away from some issues that affect a lot of these demographics that the Republicans did terrible with. And what happens then is there's a vacuum, and the Democrats define you on these positions as anti-immigration, or as the president defined Republicans, as the enemy of Latinos. He actually used that word. Republicans have to start being savvy and realize that their message is the one that truly does appeal to immigrants, the one of hope and opportunity. Why do immigrants come to the United States? For freedom and prosperity. Republicans have got to start conveying that party of freedom and prosperity and start talking about legal immigration. I mean, look at these people around the world who have spent their life savings wanting to come to the land of the free legally. There are plenty of things. The STEM immigration program that encourages those who have science and technology and mathematics training to stay here. Let's start being smart about how we talk about immigration and some of the leaders that we put forward to espouse conservative positions on immigration. We're just actually running away from the issue, and we need to embrace the free market principles around free and legal immigration.
Simon, I'm old enough to remember when Ronald Reagan reformed immigration. It was supposed to be the be-all, end-all, fix-all, but he did, and a number of people who, were in the country illegally won amnesty. But I guess there isn't the memory of that among those who want a similar deal today.
Well, it is important to recognize, John, as you say, that Republicans have long been leaders in trying to make a better immigration system, whether it's Ronald Reagan or George Bush or John McCain. This has historically not been a terribly partisan issue. It has been in recent years, but for a generation there was sort of broad bipartisan support for reforming the immigration system in the way that Reagan and others tried to do. I think that, look, I'm an optimist that something meaningful can get done next year. I think you're seeing the Republicans recognizing that they've got to get smart about this. It's not just about politics. It's also about solving problems. And I think if the Republicans stay focused on making sure the immigration system is better, that it meets the needs of our economy, does so in a way that's consistent with our values, I think the two parties can come together next year and continue to make changes that will make the current immigration system better than it is today.
Okay, but Kate, let's just say that happens. Does President Obama and maybe the Democrats then get all the credit?
Well, it's not going to really happen that way, because President Obama, his goal is to vilify the party. I talk about it in my book, Divider in Chief, and constantly portraying them as hostage takers, the enemy. So even if we abandon all of our principles, go along with the mainstream media and the Democrats and what they want, still it's not going to be enough, and Obama's going to continue to vilify them. What the Republicans need to do is focus on what they've ignored, grassroots strategy, identifying those Hispanics and members of other demographic groups that could be swing voters, identify them and get their targeted message out there to them so we can really have a genuine debate that focuses on the issues instead of this vilify half of the public that disagrees with the president. Let's have a discussion about, as Simon said, the economic benefits, how we can do this in a way that will benefit all Americans instead of just saying, oh, heck, we lost an election, we're just going to abandon all of our principles.
Simon, I like what you had to say, and I think the whole country is looking for bipartisan solutions to, some of these thorny questions that are out there. Yeah. But from a Republican standpoint, and knowing you're a Democrat, from a Republican standpoint, what is the motivation to help the president do something that he's likely to take or at least get the credit for?
I think if the Republicans are earnest and work with the president, they'll get a lot of credit, too. I don't think this is about credit taking. I think that I grew up under Bill Clinton, who always said the best politics is good governing. And I think that we need to see more focus on solving problems and getting things done in Washington than playing politics. And I think to recognize there's been real progress made, right? The border is safer today. The immigration system is better. The two parties worked together to do that over the last few years. But there's still some meaningful things that need to get done. The DREAM Act, we've got to fix the low-end and high-end visa system. The Mexicans, for example, are about to stand up a whole new border guard system which will help prevent undocumented immigrants from coming to the United States. We have to help them do that together as both parties. So I think there's going to be a lot of room to work together next year to get something meaningful done. Republicans are earnest and play it straight. I think they'll get a lot of credit for working with the Democrats to fix the broken immigration system and make it better.
Getting something meaningful done. It seems like it's been a long time since that's happened in Washington. We'll look forward to it. Simon Rosenberg, Kate Obenshain, thank you both.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, John.
Well, now we turn to Syria. The NATO alliance